Okay. Yo. Okay, we're all good. Let's just set up our stream music quickly. Yeah, that should do. That's good to me. Alright. Cool. Okay. So is that the repo? Yes, it is. And let me just check the stream is all good. Okay, it doesn't look like we're connecting to YouTube, but I don't know if that's just... No, we are. We all good. I think something just fell out of sync. Oh no, okay, we're online on YouTube, no, it's all good. Okay, cool. That's nice to see. I'm just going to check the chat as well, make sure that I haven't missed anything. Cool. So we're all good there as well. I'm just going to give people a moment to roll in. Okay. 5 minutes in, that's cool. I'll give it another minute or two, and then I'm going to start rolling with the stuff we got to get through. Quite a few things on the task list today, so should be a good one. Should I alert? Yeah, I'll alert Twitter. I kind of mentioned, like, when I first started this a couple of weeks back, that like wasn't focusing too much, at least at this stage. I'm not focusing too much on, like, trying to get loads of people in here. Really, it's just kind of to push myself and to actually have some accountability and some consistency with projects. And live stream is just a nice way to do that. Have everything well documented as well, visually, or I suppose in video form. It's been quite helpful. So I'm still yet to go back for all the footage and take, because there's certain, like, obviously, like, bugs and stuff that I encounter fairly often. Sometimes they're like framework specific, and it's just kind of nice. Obviously, like, you can write about them. I'm awful when it comes to, like, documenting stuff. So for me to actually just have, like, a clip of it, I just find it a lot easier to kind of just go and just extract that clip from, like, some of the footage, and then just have this as, like, okay, so that's how I did it. Kind of gives some greater context sometimes as well around issues that you might face, but that's just my own personal take on it. I think it's cool. Yeah, I'm currently writing a blog post about the whole building in public and like why I'm doing this and how I feel it's helping me. So hopefully that should coincide with when I'm aiming to finish my finish this portfolio site, which is I think in about 2 weeks. That's what the deadline is. I think it's May the 16th. I'll show it in a minute. I've got some stuff set up on, like, the Zen Hub. Hey, Colloquial, how's it going? Yeah, project's going well, actually. I'm just about to go through some updates and stuff. I've actually, just for sort of, I suppose, having some kind of structure to sort of help this move along a lot more smoothly, I've just made, like, a little checklist in Notion of the stuff I'm aiming to get through in the stream. And I think the first thing is to kind of just give a couple of project updates. So this is just like the file. So just some things that I'm trying to aim to get through this stream. So the main first one, which I'll go through now, is just some updates from. I'm not sure when you were last in here, but I've been working, or at least the past, I suppose most of the week actually, I've been working on building this page container that will contain all of my page routes. So that will just obviously be like a nav bar at the top and then like a footer at the bottom, and it will just wrap each page in that. So that was kind of the main thing of the week. Obviously there was some, like, issues and bugs that came up, so I'll go through those as well, and a couple of other small bits. But I think what we'll do first is probably actually go to the link. So Colloquial, I'm not sure how or if you've used Next.js, but they've got this really nice feature where you can, like, preview like deployment branches. So before they're, like, merged to, like, or pushed to main or, like, master. Say if you're working on, like, a feature and you want to see and test that feature out, like, in terms of just manual testing, like going in and actually playing around with things, as you would, like, with the deployed version, you can actually do that. And I think I know it's a feature that they have where I think they have these, like, they can generate these, like, throwaway deploy URLs. So you can basically I think you can have, like, an unlimited amount of them, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's kind of cool how you can just kind of view things and then it just gives it that added like, sort of manual testing capability. So I'm just trying to get up the development branch. So yeah, the way I've kind of done done the branches as well. Actually, I'll just grab my GitHub over here. It's just that I've got like obviously the master branch or the main branch, which is always in production, and then sitting below that's the develop branch. So because I'm making this open source and I welcome contributions, I think it's kind of safer just to have like a branch sitting under the main one that's always in production, just to have that extra sort of like QA, that like extra sort of testing or checking that might need to be done, or debugging, just before merging it in, just in case there are any bugs or anything that we might not know about until things are merged. So probably talking into Next.js gets me. I see. I because obviously I'm deploying to like Vercel, so I mean obviously that's very straightforward because it's it's their product. But yeah, I don't know much about sort of deploying Next.js elsewhere, but I know Gatsby. I have seen it. It's very easy to host. What are you hosting on, like Netlify or something similar? But yeah, so this is like the development branch, and what we can do is that you can come down to this like this environments tab, and you've got preview here. I don't think it's showing up on the. Oh no, it is. Yeah. So right here we can see you got the preview. I can click on that. It's going to take me to like this deployments activity log. So it shows you the log of all the deployments you've done on. I think is it on all branches? Or is it on that particular branch? Yeah, I think it's on all branches. So this is like the most latest preview deployment, and I can click on that and it takes me straight to it. So like this isn't if you were to go to my site's actually on my own URL right now, which is pretty nice. So if you go to it, this is what's currently being shown. So that's what's like on the master branch, on the main branch. I haven't actually merged the changes yet. Oh, cool. But if we go back to here, obviously this is that like throwaway URL that they kind of give you just to test and check things out. So obviously you can see I've done like a lot of work since it was been on that. But this is basically the container is obviously everything but this homepage. So if we, I've just basically put a H1 at the beginning of every page so that you can kind of just see like we can check that it's navigating properly, and then obviously check on different screen sizes to make sure things are like responsive. So we've got this fully responsive nav bar. I've just added this functionality, nice little animation there as well, just to open things up, and you can still navigate with ease. So that's all working. That's all fine. So I went ahead and merged that branch into the development, and then we will be looking at actually just setting up some basic like end-to-end testing today actually. With a tool called Checkly, which I didn't know about until because I've been sort of getting into testing recently, and I think obviously what I've been reading more recently is the sort of benefits of end-to-end testing in terms of sort of having confidence, that your application is being tested with the way that users are going to be like interacting with your site, and it's actually a really good article by Guillermo Rauch, which was obviously he's a CEO of Vercel. And so he kind of speaks about why it's a good idea to, and I know Kenzie Dodds also talks about the benefits of like end-to-end testing, just to like start off with. So I've kind of gone by that, and I'm just going to start off with it. It's going to be the first thing that I do in terms of testing. But yeah, that's just an update on what the page container looks like. So things looking alright. We've got these nice hover states here. We've obviously got our like footer at the bottom that's going to be under everything. So it's got our main routes that are up here, but it's also got some sub routes as well that obviously are a bit harder to get to unless you're on one of the other pages and you happen to like navigate. So it's just nice to have them at the footer where someone's tabbed through the site, and then or you scroll to the bottom and you're wondering where to maybe go next. Then we've got like links that obviously take you to the places. So it will like navigate you to all of those places. And then the last sort of note is just that, and this is just the default thing by Chakra UI, which is the UI library I'm using to build this. In terms of accessibility, you get a lot of stuff for free. So we've got, so we use this like link component for obviously like navigating away from the page, which is basically an A tag, but they have some props on top of that that just automatically enable like focus, so you can use your keyboard to navigate through it. You can see here that we're actually making our way like through the whole site. So it's quite nice like that. So that kind of works nicely. So obviously the next thing is to obviously populate these pages now, starting with the home page, which is what we'll be doing next week. But before we do that, I just want to set up some basic end-to-end testing. Because what we'll be aiming to do is, like, for each feature we build, I'm going to be writing some like automated like end-to-end tests, just so we have a bit more like confidence that, you know, things are working, especially for like, because obviously like I'm not selling a product here, because obviously that's probably where you're going to get the most value in terms of testing for your time. But you know, there's still certain things on here that I want to work. Like, I'm creating like a newsletter, so I'd want you know, to make sure that people are actually able to sign up, stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's definitely difficult. I think like whenever you're approaching a project, it's hard to yeah, it isn't always easy to consider accessibility, because you know, it is so vast, and it's so like there's so many different use cases around it that I've even in early projects I've done, I've kind of always found, you know, like even just thinking about it and thinking about the different aspects of it, you know, yeah, it can be a bit difficult to kind of sometimes know where to start, and then sometimes you just don't think about it because you've got a goal in mind, you know, you're focused and you want to kind of get there, and no, I totally get that. But yeah, I mean, more recently I've kind of, you know, been wanting to, you know, actually sort of have a project where I focus sort of on it from the beginning, and this is probably that project, because yeah, to be honest, projects I've done before, even group projects, I think it's one of those things that it just tends to get left to the side, and you know, we want to like implement more, but once we started, it's, you know, it creates a bit of friction to kind of go back and check all these things. But yeah, I mean, with a component library like Chakra UI, it does help a lot, because it removes a lot of the thinking you have to do around, like, in terms of adding like the CSS props that make things accessible. It kind of helps you to do that, and HTML stuff as well. Yeah, no worries, and thanks for joining. Really appreciate that, and yeah, I'll hopefully catch one of your streams soon. Yeah, I'll be aiming to stream like a lot more this week, just trying to like push on with it and get more features built out now. So yeah, but yeah, thanks for joining, man, and we'll hopefully catch you in a stream soon, or I'll catch you in like one of yours. Yeah, either way, that'll be cool. So I'm just gonna check back. I was meant to put myself on a timer as well, actually. I'm trying to, you can see there, I'm trying to time box it a little bit more, like not strictly, but just have a rough kind of framework, just to stop me from going off track, and well, too much anyway. It's fine, obviously, to go off track a little bit. But yeah, we looked at the page container feature, and now current issues and bugs, I think, would be a good place to go to next. So let's have a look at that. What I'm going to do is probably just drag in a tab. We've got one here, actually, so we can have a look at our issues. We can have a look at them on the Zen Hub for greater context. Let me just close down that. Let's close down that as well. So yeah, I've shown this before. This is just my Zen Hub. It's just a nice sort of GitHub integration I've got here, where it just gives a bit more context to the issues that you've got in your repo. So let's give it. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just got rid of it, didn't I? Yeah, man, welcome. Yeah, I'm building my portfolio, so it's like the second version of my portfolio I'm building right now. Think I'm about like the second week in now, maybe, in terms of actually coding. It's coming up to the second week. But yeah, so that page I built out, let me... Yeah, let's go and have a look at the preview. Yeah, so I'm building it with Next.js, and then using Chakra UI as well, as the component library. I've just basically built my own style guide on top of it, so I've done a bit of customization there. But yeah, it's just got some basic functionality. What I was doing last week on here was basically just building out this container for all of our pages. So like you can see when I click on these different routes, this will obviously have content at some point, but you can see that obviously we've got this nav bar and this footer that like wraps around each page basically. So that's what I've been building. Been working on making it responsive as well. So you can see here as I resize the browser, that we're getting some nice responsive stuff going on. So we've got this nice little like menu here that we can open. It's just got like a subtle animation. It's a bit jittery as well. Like I'm going to have to sort of work on that and have a look into what's going on there. But yeah, things are just working sort of to a basic level, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then this week, yeah, it's going to be sort of the main aim is to actually get stuff in these pages, to get some kind of, I think I'll start with just getting placeholder content because I'm actually currently designing at the same time, but I don't want there to be too much overlap. So what I'm doing right now is I'm tackling the home page for this next week. If I get on well with that, then I'll probably try and tackle some of the other pages. But right now, let's have a look at the design for the home page. So this is kind of what it's looking like at the moment. So this is on mobile, and I mean, we can even sort of just view the prototypes. This is Figma. It's my design tool that I like to use, and you can view it on different screen sizes, which I'll show up here. I just realised it's not on the right screen. There we go. So apologies. All right, yeah, this is the mock-up right here, and then we've done a little bit of prototyping as far as sort of navigating from here. It's got a weird fade though. That's not going to happen. But I'm definitely hoping to add a little sort of subtle transition to it. So yeah, this is just basically like I mean, it's not set in stone or anything. This is just some ideas I've had so far. This is what the desktop version looks like. Yes, there's a lot of white space. I'm definitely aware. But I can just bring this back up, and then that kind of just eliminates a lot of that white space. But yeah, I'm gonna have some kind of like visual go in there. I'm working on that as well. But the aim is to sort of have that built out as much as I can, and then start coding it rather than sort of start the coding first. So I think probably after this stream and maybe early tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a lot of work on sort of getting this design up to scratch, and then hopefully tomorrow evening we'll start actually building out that homepage. But right now it's just making sure that we've got sort of like the rest of our framework set up. So we've got the page container done. The main sort of thing I'm aiming to do today is actually get some end-to-end testing into this, just to get some automated testing, and we're going to be writing like a really basic test, and then obviously later on we'll sort of add more tests and start to write further tests for our pages and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's just an update on what I've been up to really, and yeah, this is the issue board of things that I'm hoping to tackle. So the main thing today, I've kind of just tried to split things up into sprints as well. I just find it easier to like time box things and know that I've got like a week to finish this thing. So this is like the last thing we got for this sprint, and then we'll be taking the stuff from this like product backlog and we'll be adding it to the next sprint, which is obviously starting tomorrow. So sprints will usually run like Monday to Sunday, being like the final day really for me. So yeah, we're going to get the testing kind of set up today, and hopefully it will run as smoothly as it can. I mean, I don't know, but I've like read into these tools, and it does seem quite straightforward to get things implemented. So hopefully should be all good. So current issues and bugs, branch updates, been through that, pre-commit hooks. Yeah, and then earlier I got some pre-commit hooks done. Close that down. But I need to kind of test whether this actually works. But that's weird. Sorry, I'm just seeing like an old branch here. Are we good? Okay, that was some weird thing that's happening there. Okay, we're good. Let's just check. Up to date. We're good, right? I'm just gonna get Paul just in case you need to pull anything. Yeah, we're already up to date. That's all good. Cool. So yeah, we've got some pre-commit hooks. We're using Husky just to basically create a pre-commit hook lint stage, which is gonna do some linting and stuff for us, formatting and things like that. So if there's any if we've got any lint errors, it's going to stop things from committing. We have to fix them before we do that. It's just kind of like a nice added layer of security in terms of static type checking, not static type checking, static checking. I don't think we'll be going into static type checking in this. I do want to get into TypeScript and Flow and stuff like that at some point soon. Might potentially, depending on whether they'll definitely be a use for it. As far as testing things go, we might potentially use prop types, but again, that's kind of more of a potential thing. But I definitely do want to get into doing a bit of testing with end-to-end, a bit of integration testing, and unit testing as well. We've actually got some snapshot testing things set up with Storybook, which is one of the tools I'm using to build out the UI. We're going to look more into that in this coming week when we come to actually building out the pages. Let's for now actually get into looking at the next thing. So this is just kind of more for context, to be honest. I'm just going to go through it pretty quickly to kind of just keep my mind clear on it as well, actually, about what we're doing. So I've been reading a lot of these blogs recently, actually, on Kent C. Dodd's blog about writing tests, and one of the main things that he says, and I know he had a tweet that kind of blew up around this. I think it was him that says write tests, not too many, mostly integration. And no, sorry, it was Guillermo Rauch that said it. He kind of said that, and then Kent goes on to talk about he breaks down each bit. He kind of talks about what was essentially what I think he looks at as the more older model of how we used to look at testing, and then he has a bit more of a modern approach, maybe you could call it, which he calls the testing trophy, which is basically a guide on return on investment. So basically it's kind of I think I can't remember the way you put it, the time that is it the time it takes against the cost or something along those lines. I'm not going to try and say it word for word, but it was something like that. And obviously static testing, so using static type checkers, using TypeScript and Flow, even ESLint, he regards as a testing tool. I use ESLint, so we've got that at the lowest level, so we've already got that set up. I've actually got so as we can see in our package.json, we've got these different ESLint configs. So we've got the config prettier, which just basically allows the styling, it just allows Prettier to handle all of the styling stuff, which I prefer because I don't want ESLint really changing the format. I'd rather just it have the one thing it does, and but that's just my own personal preference. I kind of like the more basic default setup. I don't really like there being too much friction. I don't know, I've worked with sort of small teams before where people using more we're using configs that were it just felt a bit more tight and restrictive in when I'm writing. Isn't that I want to be irresponsible when I'm writing, but I like to be a bit more freer to write without having to be tripped up by ESLint every minute. Again, just my personal preference, to be honest. But we've got a few other things like ESLint plugin import, just catches basic import errors that I always do. So that's a helpful one for me. And then some basic accessibility things. So it's just stuff if you're using emojis to put them in spans, it will remind you just things like that that just help you to be more semantic and more accessible. And then obviously we've got ESLint plugin React, which takes care of a whole bunch of things which I will not go into, but they're obviously all in the docs, so feel free to check those out. But so in terms of static, that's kind of the base of the the base of the trophy. Then you've got unit testing, integration as well. So obviously we'll be using Jest to do that, because that's obviously the main tool for it. And then obviously what we're doing now, with cheapest at the top, is end-to-end testing. And I haven't used Cypress. I've heard a bit about it. I'm definitely gonna sort of check it out, and be cool to get into it. but yeah, we're starting at the top, so we're starting at end to end, and then we'll kind of maybe like write maybe some small unit tests. Like it's all dependent on the test cases as well, and I kind of just made throughout the project, I've kind of made this little page of considerations. It's just things to consider in terms of like different aspects of the project. So we've got this sort of like testing consideration, and for me this is just what it just helps me to kind of break down things in my mind, because there's so many different concerns that we're tackling, like testing and accessibility and web vitals, like optimization, all of these different things. So it's just kind of nice just to break them down, like really like just to break them down like atomically, to the point where like it's just like line for line, okay, this is that. So that's what I've done here. It's just I've put just a few considerations to think about, like knowing what to test, and to like write tests that like resemble like the way our apps are going to be used. So like more stuff that's more geared towards like use cases rather than testing things like implementation details, things that users are never going to see basically. So trying to keep that in mind, and then also like like I said before, the tough thing of knowing what to test exactly. And so for me, what I've done, and like there was this statement by Kenzie Dodds that I think it was in his blog, where he says what would be the worst thing to break in this app, and that's kind of the way I've been looking at it. And so I've just put it down to like these key features, and at the moment I think these are like the main few. Like I said, it's not a product, so like we haven't got like a login form to check for, and we haven't got like a shopping cart to kind of like make sure, we haven't made to write some logic around that to check that that's working for users. We haven't got anything like that. It's this is like a personal portfolio, so it's going to be a couple of different features that you're going to get. So for me, I've just sort of thought about what would be the worst in terms of, well, actually I suppose I had to break it down into actually thinking like, what is it that I'm at, like what am I building this for, right? Like what am I actually hoping to get out of building this, but like obviously besides it being a project where I learn and develop my skills, like what else? And so for me, like there's a couple of things, one being I suppose your portfolio, it's just as good as a CV. So it's to basically to show like potential collaborators and employers your skill set, to show them what you've been up to, your capabilities and the stuff you're building, working on, a bit of background about yourself as well. And I mean obviously we can go deeper into that, but I think just as a base level, that's kind of like my aim with this, right? And so then you drop like a level down to think about, okay, so in terms of these things, right, like showing people like my skills, and then I suppose the way I thought about it is that okay, that would be great, right, to showcase my skills. And suppose a collaborator or like a potential employer saw the portfolio and they're like, okay, no, this is really cool, like, okay, let me get in touch with them, and they go to my contact form, which is broken, right? that's not good. So that's when I kind of thought, okay, contact form would definitely probably be the first thing, or one of the most important things. I've kind of put project data and newsletter. I don't know what's more important than what, but obviously it would be good to make sure that we're seeing what we expect in terms of projects, because I think it's going to be very likely that we'll have the data for each project like live. So we'll have like the card component basically for our projects that will like obviously live within the page, or separately if we were to reuse it, but I think it would be fine to live within the page, probably. We'll see. But then we'll have like the data around like each project maybe just live in a separate file, like maybe a JSON file, I don't know yet. This is what we'll sort of think about when it gets towards that time. But if that's the case, then we'd have to check to make sure that like all of our projects are rendering as well. So that kind of idea. Again, like I'm not sort of like 100% clued up on this, but this is just kind of where my thinking's gone based on what I've read. So that's the kind of second consideration. And then there's newsletter as well, which is obviously like it's just sort of that like added, this is how you can actually sort of develop a lot more of like an interpersonal relationship with people that come across your site. If they sign up to your newsletter, you have this opportunity now to actually have a bit more of a direct communication. And yeah, it's just really nice to have people on a newsletter, right? And you don't want that to break during the process, because you're potentially missing out on all these people joining your newsletter. So we want to make sure that's working. So those are the top 3 considerations. As we kind of go through this and build it, it might potentially extend. I mean, I'm going to guess that it probably will in some areas, but right now that's what I'm gonna focus on when it comes to it, of course, because it's going to depend on like what page we're building, because I'm building this like sort of atomically, in the sense that like I'm building this page first, and then once that's done and that's functional and that's being tested, then we'll move on to the next thing, rather than like building everything and then trying to test everything afterwards, because I feel like we could very easily end up in a mess. So that's just some testing consideration stuff. That's the trophy. So I'm going to try and push on a bit more swiftly now, because I'm just conscious of time. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to time box things a bit. So I'm trying to keep things between like an hour and a half and 2 hours. So I'd say like in about an hour's time, well, in about an hour and a bit. Yeah, about an hour and a half maybe, max. That's kind of when I'm going to aim to be jumping out of here. So let's just cross a couple things off, and then it's also just a really helpful thing I found earlier, actually, just give them quite a basic definition of what a end-to-end test is, really. This is just for anyone that doesn't know. I didn't even know about this until probably maybe a few weeks ago. It's you know, the whole testing thing is still relatively new. But yeah, like the past couple of weeks, I've been really reading up into things, doing some basic tests. Just, you know, it's more like, it was more contrived examples of things. But obviously, the best way to really understand and to learn things like this is to actually build in context and actually have like a real use case, right? So that's a big part of the reason why I'm focusing on it, like in this project sort of from the beginning. So end-to-end testing, what is it? So yeah, we've just got this nice basic thing here. I'll just kind of read the first like kind of sentence. So end-to-end testing is a technique that tests the entire software production beginning to end to ensure the application flow behaves as expected. It defines a product's system dependencies and ensures all integrated pieces of work together as expected, basically. So yeah, the main purpose is to test the end user's experience by simulating the real user experience and validating the system under test and its components for integration and data integrity. So I think that first little bit is really like encapsulates the whole thing. So it's to test from the end user's perspective by simulating real user real user cases, or like user scenarios. So we're going to be using couple of tools. So the main one we're going to be using is Checkly, which is basically going to help us to run automated checks, and that uses Puppeteer, which is I think Google's tool. So we're using Puppeteer, and we're going to be using Chai as well to expect some stuff. So what we will do, it just kind of gives some nice benefits to end-to-end testing and like when to apply it as well. So the difference between end-to-end tests and functional tests, and some more structural things, test planning and test design and execution and all these more advanced concepts from my brain right now. So so that's basically general overview of what an end-to-end test is. So we're really like just going to be testing like what the user like will be doing on our site. We're trying to get as close to that real use case rather than like testing things that the user won't interact with, basically. So that's why I like it, and that's why it appealed to me, because I was like, okay, no, that sounds very direct. Right, so Checkly and Puppeteer and Playwright. So yeah, I just mentioned those are the tools we'll be looking at. I'm just going to close some stuff down. I'll close that down. Okay. Oh, I see. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, so we're going to be running like the browser check. That's kind of what we're going to be doing with this. You can do like a bunch of different stuff. You can do monitoring, API checks, and obviously they've got CI/CD integration, which we're going to get into a bit later on. We'll be integrating with GitHub so that we can run this on each deploy, so that if there's any sort of like bugs or anything that's caught, any errors that we catch in our test, it will stop that. It will stop it from deploying, and then we can go and fix that, and yeah, we can nicely integrate it into our CI/CD workflow. So that's cool. So yeah, this is just kind of telling us, what a browser check is, which is a Node.js script that starts up a Chrome browser, loads a web page, interacts with the web page. The script validates assumptions you have about that web page. For instance, is my shopping cart visible? Can users add products to my shopping cart? And can users log into my app? And we can do this. We can write, obviously, like, and this is where like Chai would come into it, I believe. Or like I think I'm pretty sure you can use Puppeteer with Cypress. I think what we're going to have a look at in a second is Lee Robinson, who's a big inspiration for this project. I mentioned him sort of in previous streams. He has a whole like mastering Next.js course, which really helped me out with just understanding what Next.js does and just giving me a nice basic understanding of certain things. So we can do a lot of this with Puppeteer in terms of actually making assumptions on things, I believe. We're seeing Chai here now, and so we can use Chai to expect certain things. There's also an assert. Node has an assert library. I think that's Node's assert library that's being used there as well. So looks cool. So we'll be doing browser checks. That's going to be our domain, basically. So and then Puppeteer I mentioned, and Playwright. So what we're going to have a look at quickly is just, this is kind of what I'm going to be going off quite a bit actually during this, is this kind of workflow. And there we have Guillermo Rauch there again with his very famous tweet. He wrote this blog post called Develop Preview Test. Again, that's another thing. That's actually how I found out about Checkly. He kind of mentioned it. He gave a quick example. It looked simple enough, and I thought, okay, that's cool. Maybe we'll just try that out as a tool and see how we get on with it. So yeah, that's how I sort of came to use this in the project. It just allows you to monitor the performance and credits of your API endpoints and vital site transactions from a single simple dashboard. So that's really helpful. When we're doing API stuff yet, because we haven't worked with any yet, but it's definitely on the cards. For some of the features, we're going to be needing that kind of thing. So yeah, under the head, Checkly uses Puppeteer. It allows you to control your browser in a headless fashion. Yeah, there's also like a recorder that you can use. It's like a Puppeteer recorder, which is really cool. You can kind of record your web page, go and perform some actions, and then it will write a script for you. And it's actually mentioned by Lee somewhere in here about taking that approach, and about the main caveat to taking that approach when you're using something like Chakra UI. I think he was using that for this project or something similar. Anything where you're using kind of style components and you have generated CSS, I think Tailwind as well might go for that. Anything where you have generated CSS, it's not going to be so helpful on, because of the fact that it doesn't give you any helpful CSS names. So, but there are definitely other ways around it. As well, I mean, from what it seems I saw. Okay, he doesn't have it on here, but yeah, he did mention you can use the recorder. It doesn't work well with CSS and JS because it has auto-generated class names that change. So that's not good for obviously checking things. Okay, so he goes through creating a browser check. So we can do this. Launch the browser and navigates to our site. So this is like our first kind of test that we're going to be running. Just very, very simple. It's gonna be a super simple thing. Right. So yeah, this is going to be essentially our first kind of test that we're going to start writing once we get things set up. So let's get those things set up now. First thing to add in is Puppeteer and Chai. Okay, I just kind of put it here so I can copy and paste it, and I can't even copy it. There we go. Cool. So before I even do that, actually, that would have been silly. Best thing to do here is to let's create ourselves a new branch. So we can git checkout -b, which is gonna create a new branch and then check out to that branch. And I suppose let's have a look. What can we call this branch? I suppose we'll have it as a feature if it's a test. I don't really know too much around the sort of conventions around branch names. Like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah, so sorry, I'm just checking something real quick. Right. How do you name? I'm just very curious, you know, on like how people name Git branches. I've just found this random discussion on the dev.to platform. Right, so let's have a look. If I were less lazy, I'd... Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It's always interesting seeing different like naming conventions for branches. I'm always just genuinely curious. I think for now we'll just kind of stick with I suppose, yeah, okay, we can just do, I'll just do a test branch. So I'll just say test slash, might make it a bit more straightforward. So test slash what can we call it? I'm going to say set up end to end. We just call it that. Simple enough. Okay, cool. And then we can add Puppeteer and Chai, which hopefully works. I hope I didn't make any typos with Puppeteer. It's like, it's one of those words, right? It's just like how many P's or how many E's. I don't know. Okay. All right. We'll let that do its thing. Yeah, we good? So we've got Chai and Puppeteer in there. Okay. Nice to see that. We're all good. Okay. Just want to kind of get rid of some stuff. Let me get rid of that now. Okay. Just trying to keep things nice and lightweight. I mean, my computer can handle it, but I don't want anything affecting the performance. So just taking some necessary precautions. Okay, bear with me for just a moment. Okay. Cool. Okay. So cool. That's all installed. One thing I was wondering earlier, actually, that I'm not sure about, to be honest, is like what the kind of convention is in terms of like where we put this file. I don't think it's like massively important, but I'm just kind of curious to know. I'd love to know. I'm kind of looking on here, and I don't know if he gives an indication. Maybe I'm just not looking properly. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't really know how important. I don't think this is that important, but curiosity is getting the better of me, I'd say. Yeah. So you can see here, right? He kind of says, this is Guillermo Rauch's blog post, by the way. He mentions, so he installed the Checkly integration to GitHub. He linked it to his repository, and then he created a branch where he purposely misspelled his name. And you know, I suppose this is kind of him going in that sort of true testing mindset of making sure our test is failing if it does need to. And so I think that's what we might do first is we'll keep this branch, we'll stay on this branch. What we're going to do is that we're going to basically, we're going to say expect title to contain, and I'm going to spell my name wrong, and then we're going to make sure it's failing, and then we can, I mean, I don't know if it's that useful for this use case, of course, because it's, you know, it's a little bit contrived, but I think you know, there's no harm done by doing that. So that's what we'll do. I'm just curious. Well, let's get started with Checkly first. Let's do that. Okay, I went back off it. Cool. So here I am. So I'm gonna log out quickly. So yeah, you can just like, oh, is it gonna log me back in? Okay, so I can sign. So you can sign in with GitHub. You can sign in with Google. I'm gonna sign in with GitHub. I'm already in, so it should just take me straight back, which it does. Then we get some cool stuff that we can do. I'm just gonna create a new browser check. And let's name it portfolio V2 just for some context, and check tags. I don't know what that means right now. Okay, so I don't know. I feel like London. Don't really know. So this is pretty cool, right? Oh, I see. Actually, hold on. I think I think I've been an idiot actually, and just assumed that we're actually copying this code, which I don't think we are. So I think this actually just lives separate from your. Yeah, no, this makes sense as to why like there was no like install steps. I was wondering. I was like, damn, like on the Checkly docs, they've got no install steps. On like Guillermo's blog, they haven't got any install steps. On like Lee Robinson's blog, they've got no install steps. And I think I'm just coming to realize that like there aren't any actually. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I know. Well, that's nice. At least we don't have to sort of mess with that. Okay, I need to uninstall. So let's do that. Is it yarn remove? By the way, I'm new to yarn. For anyone that's watching me and thinking like, oh nah, man, you're getting it all wrong. Nice, that's what we want. Okay, so let's just yarn remove what we just installed. Sorry, that's hilarious. Chai and Puppeteer. I'm gonna have to. Okay. Thank you. I was stupid. Okay. That's all good. It's all easily done. So like, we don't really need this branch. Oh, well, that's nice actually. So I thought it was going to take a lot longer. Well, not a lot longer. I thought we were going to have to actually set up. It wouldn't have taken that much longer, to be honest. So, oh, that's cool then. We can just write the code in here, essentially, which is, I think, I don't know. Oh, okay. We add the environment variables here. Okay, no, now it makes sense. So what we can do basically, so this is really nice now, because what I can do is I can test, if anyone's been watching from earlier and saw my preview branch, which is this here, view that deployment. So this link here, we can actually allow it to test this. And the great thing about like Next.js and having these separate deployment like branches where you can actually view them is the fact that it still mimics that like essential functionality of your like production. Yo, hey Dave, how's it going? Great to have you back in here, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, I'm just working on some more of the project, Dave, and basically what we're doing in this stream is setting up just some basic like end-to-end tests. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. Just trying to get some basic testing, get some confidence in our app that things are working. But right now we're just focusing on like building something really basic. Doing well. I've been a bit addicted to Naruto. Wow, Naruto. You know, I haven't watched that in I don't know how many years it's been now. But yeah, that was a great show. Yeah, no, I'm doing well, thank you. Just enjoying my Sunday. You know, just doing the old just doing a lot of project maintenance today, and also like a few basic house tasks, you know, tidying up and getting ready for the week ahead, really. So yeah, it's been a chill one, but also, you know, just been doing a bit of work as well. Like, would have loved to rest a bit more, but you know, stuff has to get done if it has to get done, right? So, but yeah, this is what I've been building. So I can't remember if you'd seen much of it the last time you were in here. I was building like this page container for all of my pages, and yeah, it's basically just like this nav bar here and this footer here, so we can go to different pages. I've just made like a H1, like a heading at the top of each page, so that we can make sure that it is navigating. So that's all working. We've got some external links which will take us to my GitHub or like LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that stuff. So right now we're just setting up a basic browser check for this. It is great. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I used to watch when I was younger. I can't remember if I watched like all of it, but I definitely watched a lot of that kind of stuff. I think it was back on like, I think it was on Nickelodeon or something like that. So yeah, but that was cool. So yeah, what we have here is basically like this script that's going to basically navigate to our site. So we can just give it the so what I'm going to do here actually is create an environment variable. So what we can call it is like and so that's, I'm guessing that it's going, the name we give it is going to be like what's here. So we've got obviously myvar, and we're going to go off like environment. Environment. Well, that's actually a surprisingly difficult word to spell. Environment URL, and we can so the value is, we want to go to, so we have this preview branch, which is basically like, it mimics our like what would be on deployment, basically on a production. So it's kind of nice because so we can test this confidently, knowing that like, okay, you know, when we test this, if this works, we can have confidence to actually push that up and it's still gonna be okay. Basically. Okay, you can lock that, but we don't need to. It's just the URL. Like, anyone can go visit that if they wish. So that's fine. But what we can do now in this is we can just say like const, oh, I'm not spelling stuff properly, URL equals process .env dot environment URL. Oh no, wait, my bad. And then we'll just have it test our default site. The nice thing about this is the fact that, like, even if it doesn't work, the title is still the same. So it doesn't have to check. It doesn't have to check that, but I just want to test it anyway, because like, this is where I'm going to be making the mistake. So I do want to test this link. I think maybe. I think, yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll do some stuff and hopefully it will work. So yeah, I'm just having a look at here and just take some inspiration. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we can just do this. Cool. So that's just gonna price. We can't. Yeah, GG's. It's interesting. Cool. So cool, right? So okay. Yeah, I'm just I kind of mentioned this earlier in the stream actually, Dave, before you got here, that I'm still quite new to like all this to testing stuff, so this is the point of the stream where I like considerably slow down. Like I'm gonna try not to go too slow, but I just want to make sure that like I'm getting this right. Yeah, so here he even mentions it. I don't know how I missed this out, where he even says Checkly gives me full access to the Node and Puppeteer APIs. I just assume that you copy and paste the code. I suppose that's like a common thing with other tools, but you know, I didn't quite get the catch on that one, but that's cool. So yeah, we're doing this. So we're going to ascertain that our homepage, or well, that the actual site itself always contains my name in the browser title. So right, so yeah, we can do page. So you can do page.go to URL. So we can just change to this. And const, so you can assert or equal title to be so okay, basically we're on this test branch. So what I'm gonna do actually is this. So what I'm gonna do, so we're just going off what Guillermo's done. I think this is just a nice kind of way to do it from like maybe a learning standpoint for other people that might be just getting into this as well. I'm just kind of thinking that it might be good to follow his steps here. So I'm jumping all over the place because I can't remember where he is. It here? Yeah. So he created a Git branch where he introduced the title tag. We obviously already have that, but what we can do, I think it should work, is that we can change the title. So we can actually change the title tag in this branch. So I've already got this test set up, and I suppose it is part of the test setup. So this hasn't completely gone to waste. What we can do is we can go into our components. Is it in our container? No, it's not. It's in our pages. And close that down. It's in our index.js, I think. I think it's somewhere here. What's in the app? No, I think it is in our container. Is that where the, yeah, I think that's where our head is. So my bad. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of stuff in here. So here we've got, okay, yeah, so title, method.title. So this is what we're actually expecting. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste that. So let's paste that. It's actually expecting. It's expecting that, right? Okay, Greg Ogun, front end developer is what we're expecting here. But what I'm gonna do is just put my name. I'm just gonna shorten it and put like front end dev or something. Okay, so this is just the most basic change. So we've gone from front end developer to front end dev. I'm gonna save that. We're gonna get this thing come up on Git at the left, which is saying we've got a change. So let's go commit that. So we just use this plus. That just is the same as git add. So we put that to bring it to the staging area. We can use our conventional commits that we've been using. We can Control Shift P and then conventional commits. And then we'll just put it down as, yeah, like a refactor or something. And again, we'll just put it down as a refactor. And let's change title for check lead test. Okay, so that's all committed. Nice one. So we can do git status. Okay. So now what we can do is, can we get, so if we get push -u origin, I always forget doing this the first time. Let's try this test. Set up. Yeah. Okay. So we can go and check now that our branch has been created. Let's just go back to GitHub. Oh, not issues code. And if we go to our branches, you can see, yeah, test setup's got some pushes. So we can just make sure, double check this if we want, not in pages, as I said before. Components, container. We can look here and we've got front end dev, right? Just there. So that's all good. So basically, if I just come back to the main, okay, so it's still pending. But once that preview's done, we can give it that URL to check against, and I think really it should fail when we go to compare and pull requests. Obviously, first we need to set up the integration. So we can do that while things are deploying, basically. So let's see where he's done this. So let's actually have a look. So I think, oh yes, check the GitHub app. Let's have a look at this. So we can go to the integrations section in our account. Just open that in a new tab. Okay. So we can integrate with GitHub and Vercel. So yeah. And do we want to do select? I guess we just, well, maybe we want it to allow it for everything. Don't know. We'll just authorize it on everything, just in case we want to use it on some other stuff. Right. Cool. So Cool. So we're all good there. So you can use this in conjunction with Vercel as well. And I think that's what I think this is probably the same link, right? Yeah, so we can link the GitHub repo here somewhere. It's down here, right? Maybe not. Ah, CI/CD tab. There should be. I think we have to save our stuff first. Okay, that's cool. Might have to save the check first, I think. Okay, that's fine. Oh wait, okay, hold on. I think if we go back to the dashboard, I'm guessing that's the dashboard, right? You can go to CI/CD here, maybe. I haven't saved the check yet. Anyway, let's save this check then. Nice one. Let's have a look. Where are we at? Oh, maybe here? Edit check. Oh no. Maybe if we edit check now, it will show up. Oh, okay. I probably just massively overlooked this these tabs. Okay, we can link the GitHub repo now. I believe we can leverage. We can, use. What am I saying? Well, I'm building out my portfolio right now. Give you a quick preview. Actually, is this the one? Yeah. So we haven't got much at the moment. What I spent the past week doing is just basically building out this container page where I've got like a nav bar and a footer. So all of the content for the site will obviously go in all of these pages, which I'm going to be building in this next week, basically, or at least starting to. So yeah, I'm building my new portfolio website with Next.js. That's kind of the main project I'm working on here. Been on this for like the last week or so, but been doing a lot of design stuff as well. So this is just a quick look at designs. It's definitely not there yet. This is just a basic like homepage thing. So I need to really get on with trying to get the designs up to scratch. But that's just what it looks like on desktop. It's a quick view of stuff on mobile. Just created some basic mockups, prototype as well. We've got here of how it might look. So some small navigation stuff as well. But yeah, I spent a lot of time sort of just trying to get the design right, creating an actual style guide, so fonts, colors, everything taken care of, and then just creating some components as well, like buttons and inputs and different cards and stuff, just so that when it gets to actually building out pages, you know, we can build things quickly. The design's already thought of, so that I don't have to do the thinking there. It's just going to be building and working with logic, of course. Will be probably the main other thing, but in terms of the actual UI, yeah, I've tried to get as much of that as I can sort of done beforehand. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing the past week, just really building out this container page and just making things responsive as well. So yeah, we've got dark mode as well, and you can see this is the actual app. So it's kind of nice having this integration, not even integration, like workflow between. Oh, if this thing could just stop. Okay, yeah, between like the design and between the design and the actual code itself. So obviously on the left we've got the code, then on the right we've got the design of things. So like it's not far off, I'd say. There's obviously a couple of things that are a bit different. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just a couple more changes that I need to make to things, but I'm going to be pushing on with this design over the next few days and really try and get the homepage at least built out so I can start coding that. But right now, what we're working on at the moment is just setting up some basic end-to-end tests for. So this will be something that we'll be doing for each feature. Clean design. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been working on it for a while, just trying to really. Just to sort of get everything that I need feature-wise, but then try to keep it quite minimal. I think in terms of design, I'm kind of like a minimal guy. I just try to keep things like simple and functional, and then obviously have like little bits of color here and there maybe. And yeah, I think yeah, where it comes to actually sort of adding like color and animations and things like that, I like to tend to keep it quite subtle and not like anything too sort of crazy or harsh going on. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. So I'm just setting up a basic end-to-end test basically for the page we're working on. So I'm going to try and sort of break this down. Anyway, so basically we've got this like preview here. Actually, this isn't even the preview that we want anymore. This preview can't be pending. Okay, so that deployed. So okay, this is the preview we want. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you worked with Next.js before, but you've got these like preview deployments, which I think is like a really nice feature, especially for what we're doing with end-to-end tests. So you can basically check against these like URLs that basically they aren't your production deployment, or at least not yet. But you can check, you can run these automated tests on them before, like as you're like making a pull request, and you obviously write like a bunch of like checks and assertions, and if any of those aren't met, then the test fails, and then you can go and like fix that rather than sending something that's potentially broken into production. At least from like an end-to-end standpoint. Obviously it doesn't cover everything, but in terms of like your most important maybe we could say like user flows. So obviously this is kind of more relevant for products like if you've got like a login flow or like a checkout flow. So you need to check some functionality around, not even functionality actually, just test how a user would interact with like a checkout, and just make sure that like certain things are there that give us confidence that actually yes, this works, like, and nothing's breaking basically. But in the context of this project, there's a couple of features that I'm hoping to sort of build out where I would want the extra security around things. So that's where I'm hoping that end-to-end testing can just come in and we can just run some basic checks. So Checkly is what we're using to do this, and that's Portfolio V2. So I'm just integrating it with my GitHub repo. So there we go, we've got the integration now. I think that's all done. So what I'm going to do is just make sure. No, that didn't work. We've got to click that. Okay, there we go. It just navigated me to it. Okay, now we've got it set up. So you can run checks as part of your CI/CD pipelines. by triggering checks to validate your freshly deployed application. So that's kind of nice. And yep, use environment URL from the deploy trigger. So that's just going to check so let's have a look at that actually. Yep, browser checks, we add it. Oh, so we don't even have to even add it to the... So it adds it by default, actually. I actually created one that was named this, but we don't have to. For anyone watching earlier, you'll understand what I mean. But so yeah, it can also include screenshots, and I think that's done with like the Puppeteer like headless recorder. It's a really cool feature where you can actually do it manually, where you go in. It's like a Chrome. I think it's a Chrome extension where basically you can navigate to your site, you can start recording, and then you can go around, like click some stuff, do some stuff on the page, and then it creates like a script for you basically that you can then use to check stuff with Checkly. The only reason we won't be using it with this is just because I'm using CSS and JS, so it's obviously always changing class names because they're automatically generated, so that's not going to be helpful for us at all actually, but that's fine because we can obviously write our assertions out, which I feel is kind of good anyway, in terms of actually getting an understanding and actually thinking about the use cases, I suppose. So yeah, definitely not the worst thing. So let's have a look first. So on each deployment status, success event we receive. Cool. The main thing I just wanted to check here is that I set it up properly to integrate with like the Vercel, because I think I've got a feeling this just, but I don't want to just assume that it does it by default. Okay. First I was applied a URL, Checkly tested it, GitHub was notified. Yeah, all right, let's just leave it as is. Cool. We'll leave as is. I'm just going to quickly go back to the variables. Script. So I don't know, because it says by default that they... So what I'm going to do actually is just leave it out. If there's an issue with it, it will definitely let us know. Okay. Yeah, I think that's... I don't know, actually. I'll probably need to read that again. Let's have a look. So... yeah, it was here, wasn't it? When a service like Vercel deploys a specific branch, commit or PR, a dedicated URL is created. Yeah. How long have I been coding for? I think it's been like literally just about a year now. Yeah, I think like a year last month. Yeah, I started around this time last year. I started getting into like just basic HTML, CSS. And it's weird. It's coming around so quick, man. Crazy stuff. Doesn't feel like I've been coding for a year. But yeah, I mean, it's because I actually started in the first like lockdown here in the UK. I'm not sure where you're based. I'm obviously, if you can't tell already, based in the UK. So first lockdown, I just needed something to sort of keep myself busy, and I was on furlough. I had some time off work, and I was just always thinking like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to get into coding at some point. Like I thought, okay, let me try web development and see how it goes. I'll just start with HTML, CSS, and Yeah, I didn't think I'd actually like it as much as I did. I was just expecting it to be some short stint that I did for like a little while. But yeah, and then obviously like the more I kind of got into HTML and CSS, I was like, okay, cool. Like I've obviously heard about JavaScript, and it looks pretty like cool, but obviously looks difficult as well. And I'd already heard about React by that point, but I was like, okay, yeah, that's miles away from me. So I took a while sort of getting to grips with like basic, I'd say basic to intermediate JavaScript. Like I wouldn't say I'm advanced with JavaScript. There's a lot of concepts I need to go back and refresh my mind on. So got any code? No, I never went to a boot camp actually. It was something I did consider, but I think the first thing, or especially early on, I think the first thing for me was just the cost. But then obviously, I know there are some that I found out about that they kind of offer schemes where you can, like, you don't have to pay after you get like a full-time job from it, but there was still that kind of area of uncertainty, and I didn't really, I don't know. I just kind of thought, okay, I'm just gonna like leave it for now, and I'll see how I can get on my own. And obviously it's been tough. It's been crazy tough. But one of the things that really helped me actually to accelerate in terms of like working, like I suppose working in teams, but also skill wise, was Chingu. I don't know if you've heard of Chingu. I've spoke about it on here before actually, but it's kind of worth always mentioning. So basically, you work on these team projects you can get paired with people from like sort of any team size from like 3 to like maybe 6 people, I think. Maybe a bit less, maybe 3 to 5. Yeah, between like 3 and 5 or 6 people. You'll be on a team with, just paired with like random people around the world that are also on the Chingu like platform. Basically, you just spend 6 weeks building a project together. And there's no like set amount of hours. I think it's one of those things, as long as you agree amongst your team, like how much you can put in each week, and obviously just let them know if that changes. But it's like really good, because obviously like you decide to build this thing, you can like together you choose like whatever framework you're gonna go for. And I feel like I really like learned a lot from those. So I did like, I think we finished our most recent one like a month ago now. No, it wasn't that long ago, I don't think. A couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, we finished at least my most recent one. But I'm becoming like a facilitator on there, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to be like looking through other people's projects and like helping people out in the community there. So I massively encourage anyone that, like, you know, if you haven't gone to a boot camp, by the way, D1 Hoops, and you know, it's kind of like a cost thing for you as well, like it was for me. This is a really good option, because it still has that boot camp kind of feel, and obviously you can see like the membership like isn't too bad for like a Voyage. So it's kind of like just a nice way to do something that's just like that step below a boot camp, but you still get the experience of obviously using, because you obviously, between your team, you decide what technologies you're going to use and how you're going to approach things. And the stuff that you do is very like sprint based. So it's very like, I mean, they pretty much use, or they encourage you to use like a Scrum workflow. And again, like this is something that if you're applying for like startups, that's obviously something that they like to see, because they're like, most startups are very much based around like agile like methodologies. So yeah, it's a good project to be a part of and to join. So definitely check that out. But yeah, it's crazy for me. It's been a year, and like here I am now building out my portfolio of Next.js, which I hadn't heard about till about. I mean, I heard about it probably about like up to about 6 months ago, but I just. Oh, I appreciate that, man. No, honestly, thank you. You started during lockdown as well. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, man, you know what? I'll tell you, man, that like it's beginning of React was probably like, because there's been a few areas where I've like really struggled with stuff, but I don't think I struggle with anything as much as I struggle with React. And it wasn't even so much like learning the features like JSX and stuff like that. For me, it was actually like thinking in React, because obviously it's a completely different way. Like once you get used to writing JavaScript, right, and working with the DOM, and like the thing I do like about React is obviously the fact that it's probably, I mean, I haven't touched Angular or Vue yet, but from what I've heard from other people, it's like the closest to like sort of like vanilla JavaScript in terms of actually like the logic side of things. Obviously, in terms of React thinking and the way you build React, it's obviously completely different. It's all like split up into different components and like very modular. But can you build? Yeah, I mean, like even still, it's a good place to like it's still a good place to be in terms of like it's a good skill to have because like once you learn React, you can. I feel like the more skill you have with building landing pages, once you learn like you get through that tough part of React, you can like sort of like rework that and you can reimagine that. Like you can go back and rebuild projects. But I feel like, yeah, if it's kind of just like sort of trying to progress, but then obviously, like it's nice to have a bit of uncomfortability, but then obviously if it's to the point where like, you know, you're like, okay, I'm definitely not ready for this. But I mean, like I'm on, like I've got Discord actually for this channel. And like I kind of created it just for a space for like anyone, to kind of just share like anything around like web dev. If you're struggling with stuff or if there's anything you're building that, you know, like you'd love people to check out. I just wanted to create a space for that. So I'll pop the link in here and just feel free to join it. If you've got anything, like any questions or anything, or you want to like work through stuff, there's a couple like live channels as well, like where if you're just coding and you want someone to look over some stuff or yeah, just like anything around that. I just thought it'd be nice to create a space for that. So I'll pop the link in here. So yeah, feel free to like join that like anytime and yeah, there's only a couple of us in there right now. But yeah, no, it would be cool because I feel like, especially when it comes to like React, I mean, for myself, I think I would have found it a lot easier if there was like other people I could have worked on with it, and sort of had that, yeah, just sort of had people that I could be like, okay, like I'm just checking, like, am I getting this concept correctly, or can you look over this code, like that kind of thing. So yeah, if any time you need any help with React or even want to offer some feedback on my work or someone else's work in the small little community that we're building here, then yeah, feel free to join that and have a look. I'm just gonna check how we're doing for time. Okay, cool. So gonna round off probably in about the next like 20 minutes, half an hour. So that's pretty good because we've got most of this stuff done. I've got a little checklist because this just helps me keep on track. Otherwise, like I'll be going off like be going off the rails. So we didn't need this step, so we can just get rid of that, which is nice. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, Samuel, cool, man. Okay, nice one. So cool. Yeah, that's cool. So we can do that. What's that? Muted. Okay, cool. So let's save the check now. So yeah, in terms of testing, so we've just set up this basic script. So if we look through the script, basically what it does, so yeah, we're installing, well, we're requiring Chai and Puppeteer here to use in the script. So like this is the function that gets invoked when we make our like pull request, basically, and this is what checks the stuff for us. So we've got our link here, which is just set to this environment variable. So it's either going to go to that link or it's going to just visit our default site link, which obviously wouldn't be helpful if we're trying to check for the name, because that's not the branch that we're on, but that's just like sort of a fallback thing. And I just want to make sure I've even spelled that right. Yeah, environment. So yeah, we launch a browser, and then we get the page, and then we go to the URL, and then we basically grab the title, and then we make an assertion. So we're basically like, so obviously if you haven't got much sort of background in testing, you have assertions, which is basically us saying like this should be this basically. So we're saying the thing on the left should be the thing on the right. So we're saying basically this title of the document, right? So, you know, like the title in HTML should be equal to Greg Ogun, front-end developer. And what I've done deliberately, if you go back to the code and have a look at our title in this container component, is actually, we don't even want to check it against the main branch. We want to check it against development branch. So that's all fine. Sorry, I'm just thinking aloud. But anyway, if you go in here, you can see deliberately I've actually put front-end dev instead of front-end developer, and I've gone and I've committed that, and I've pushed that up to the branch so that it fails. Like, we just want to make sure it's failing basically, and then we'll fix it and make sure it passes. So save that check. Hopefully this works. So what we're going to do right now is go back to GitHub, and I think we should have the integration now. I don't even know if I know how to check for this. If I go to settings, integrations. Okay, so we can check for it. Okay, we've got Checkly. I don't really think I need to configure it, but I just wanted to have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, no, we're all good. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, it's configured. So if I go back to the main body of the repo, basically, so it tells us that this branch that we've created now, that we've made that purpose mistake on, has had recent pushes, which we did push. So what I want to do, I want to compare and pull request. Cool. So it's telling us it's able to merge to the master, but we don't want to merge there. We want to merge to the development. So this is basically, I was speaking about this before. This is actually some inspiration I got from one of the like early Chingu projects I was doing with the group project, and they kind of give you, they have these guides that help you as a team, like sort of work better together with like GitHub and just general team like project management stuff. But in regards to the GitHub stuff, what was really nice was that they have this whole guide on sort of like working with feature branches, which is like a common thing within teams, right? So you have like the master or main branch at the top, the level below that you have the development branch, and then below that you have obviously like, I mean, potentially you could have like an unlimited amount of feature branches. Sometimes people just have like the master branch and then they have feature branches, and then they do all the checks before merging. But like I think it's just, for me anyway, because I know I'm clumsy, but I think it's quite a common thing as well to have a development branch where you do all them like checks and like potential bug fixes and catching like bugs before they go into production basically. So whenever we're like creating branches, and I've said this a few times before as well, for anyone that's interested in contributing as well, I've got a bunch of issues that I'm going to be labeling as like good first issues and things like that at some point next week. I just need to get the contributing guide done, just because it's going to be a lot easier just to have that in there, just so people actually kind of know the general structure of the like repo in terms of like commits and just trying to keep things like roughly consistent. It doesn't it's not a massive thing, to be honest, but I think it will help things to flow easier. But basically, yeah, with all these branches we're creating, we're always going to want to try and merge into the develop. So whenever like anyone's opening a pull request, say you're working on a feature, it's just to make sure that we're merging into develop. Obviously it's going to be on master at first, it's going to show up as that, just come to that base there and change it to develop, and cool. So yeah, we've got our commit message here, we're comparing this branch, so that's all good. So hopefully it will run the check when we do this. Cool. So let's create a pull request with that. So yeah, we're comparing it against that, so let's create that pull request and let's wait and see. I just want to see if our thing is running. Show checks. So The Vercel one is obviously, that's always running. Oh, I know why. I know what happened. That's my bad. I didn't run the script. Okay, that's all good. I'm sure we can get around that. Can we can I like disapprove my own pull request? I wonder if that's ever been done before. Yeah, no, that's my bad. I forgot to run the script. I knew I was gonna do something clumsy like that. I always do. Like, it's, for me, it's like not a stream if I don't do things like this. So it's one successful check, but it's a false positive because we definitely have a problem. Let me see if I can. How do I can you like, I just want to decline. I want to decline pull request. Okay. Decline the pull request. Oh, I didn't even see that. Are they sure it's up there? I don't know. I didn't see no decline. Let's have a look. I feel like it's gonna be too late. Well, let me run this check anyway. Let's just start running the script. So you got to run it. So look, you can see here that it's failing like we want it to, though. So that's at least good. At least, so it tells us as well it's an assertion error. So it expected Greg Ogun to equal Greg Ogun front end developer, basically. So actually, hold on, that's weird. Unless, have I not updated that in... Oh, this is interesting, actually. I think we've actually basically created a bug anyway. So we didn't even have to change the names of things. Again, might not make much sense. I'm just going to quickly just check. So, like I said, we were checking against development, right? Or develop, the develop branch. I think that I hadn't changed it from... Right, now that's weird. I feel like it's checking against the main branch for some reason. Let's go components. Oh, shit. I know we hadn't even created that yet. So I've got a feeling that it's in here, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's, if some reason, yeah, that's checking against our... Oh no, of course it's going to do that, right? Of course that's going to do it because we... Okay, the reason why it's checking against Greg Ogun and not Greg Ogun front-end developer is because we're just running it like in this like little environment here. So it hasn't got that environment URL, right? Because like, well, this is not on GitHub, so we don't have that deploy URL that we would usually have, which is why it's defaulting to my original thing, which still has my original title. So no, this was, I think running it in here just tests the actual script itself. It doesn't have the context of it being in the repo, of course, which is why we set up the integration, but for some reason we're like not getting. So maybe we do this. Okay, let's see. So maybe we have to add this. Oh, add. Can we just add it like that? So I'm going to map it to portfolio v2. Let's see. Hopefully. Right, I'm just trying to figure out how to like undo. Okay, let's go back to here. I don't suppose anyone in the chat has any idea of how you can like decline or like cancel a pull request. I just need to like resubmit it. No, that doesn't seem to be too helpful. Oh, is it? Do we close it then? For some reason, I just had the impression that closing the pull request like will try and merge it, but maybe I've got that completely wrong. Cool. Okay, let's try and close pull request. Okay. Has unmerged commits. Okay, can we reopen? Okay, so what we need to I don't know why the check is not coming through. That's kind of what I'm just confused about. Checkly isn't our thing. Let me just go back to here. Cool. Yep. Yeah, so really this. Okay, let's try it again actually. It turns out that we don't need this like verso one. Oh, okay, you can just go to there. That's cool. Let me go back then. Let me just remove the integration for now. Yes, that's fine. So let's see. Let's get rid of that. Plays nice with Verso. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Okay, what I'm just trying to figure out is Yeah, we had a failed check, but we weren't really checking what I wanted to check. Okay. One failing. Let's go, not there. So this is what we need. So we have this bottom one, deployment has completed that thing. We have all that showing up. So we have that. We go back from here. So we have this check passing saying deployment has completed, right? But we want this like check to show up, which isn't showing up for some reason. So we've reopened the pull request. I'm just trying to figure out how we can. Yeah, that's not what we want either. Let's go and let's try and figure this out. So I'm going to say checkly not running, GitHub something. Or we can go back to the docs, maybe. What I'm going to do, I'm going to close down a few of these. Close down a few of these tabs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm just trying to figure out, like... what's going on. No, I'm actually based in Bedfordshire. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's fairly small. I mean, it's not that small. It's like a small to medium-sized county. Yeah, not far from London though. About, I think, like I'm less than an hour out of London. Like probably about 45 minutes away. So fairly close to. Cool. Okay, what I might do... I don't want to merge it in yet, you see. Okay, let me just close it for now. I just want to see if I can... let's go back to here. Can we open up another one? That's funny, man. Let's see. We got it on the right project, yeah, okay. Okay, before we go any further, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm going through things like, and I've done stuff properly. So breaking down the stuff step by step, that's fine. Did I go uni there? No, so I went to uni in Bournemouth, so down the south. Yeah, I studied for like 3 years down there. I actually did music technology, so that's kind of, I suppose, in a like indirect way how I became interested in tech. I mean, I've always been interested in tech, but like music's probably my it's kind of always been my main thing, really. And so like I wanted to just study it and try and sort of improve my like production skills and improve my actual just general like I suppose like music knowledge, but like more like I wanted to learn more about what you can do with technology. Like I just got into, like just before I went to uni, I just got into actually like making beats and making electronic music, and yeah, I was really interested in like pushing the boundaries, I suppose, like where it came to like using technology with music. And so I mean the course was kind of cool, but there was also some points of it that were like that weren't really current, like weren't really in line with like the stuff that's happening today. So yeah, mixed feelings about that course, but it was still cool in the end to like, you know, have the opportunity to like use like their studios and to mess with all these different technologies and stuff. We did a little bit of coding as well, actually. In my first year, we were doing like C++, which I didn't really enjoy. I'm pretty sure we did a little bit of HTML because we had like a little unit where we had to create like our own like music portfolio websites, like that kind of thing. And so obviously there was a few different options like using Wix, and there was like you could do a little bit of HTML and basic CSS stuff as well. So I remember briefly doing that, and I think I can't even remember if I enjoyed it or not, but like I didn't have that much of an interest in that kind of thing back then. So yeah, that's kind of my background as far as uni goes. So your check failed. I'm just trying to, let's have a look at CI/CD. Let's look at this properly and make sure we're actually doing things right. So this works out of the box. First, I'll forget how. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's cool. We don't have to do anything else around that, so that's fine. You'll be redirected to the GitHub and prompted select an account. Yeah, that's fine. So I did that. You are redirected back to check lane. Yep, so I did that. I linked the repo. Yep, I hope I linked the right one. I'm pretty sure I did, right? You can go back and make sure that we're linking the right one. Was this, do I have it here? No, that's something else. Just make sure I'm catching these messages. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to here actually. It's like it's failing, which is good, but it's failing in the wrong way. It's like it's not the right thing that's failing. And like GitHub doesn't know about our thing failing. So like if it knew about our thing failing, that would be fine. But I wouldn't even be alerted at this point that like the title is wrong. So that's what the problem we're facing right now is that the title that we're asserting, so we're saying the title should be this, but it actually isn't this. And that in itself is like fine as long as GitHub catches that, because then it's going to stop us from merging that into main, which like you can imagine if this was like a really important feature, like a checkout for like an e-commerce company, like you're going to want to know, right, that something like that is broken. Like you're going to want to be alerted about that. So that's why it's important, yeah, to kind of just figure this thing out. So I'm going to edit the check. Oh wow, back in 2018. Ah, see, that's interesting. Biomedical science. Wow, man, that's advanced. That's Nah, man, that's cool though. But yeah, I mean, like, what have you been up to since? Is it just been like web dev, or have you been like doing anything else? But yeah, I don't know, like I've heard like sometimes when people do take gap years, there's like a tendency to just kind of like not go back, which is understandable. Like it's you know, I think sometimes it's like it's for some people it isn't for others. I think if I was to have the chance again, I'm not sure. Like I think I would probably take a gap year this time around. I didn't last time. I kind of just did the whole thing straight. We also had the opportunity for a placement year, but I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to kind of get it done and over with and get out. But like, I did enjoy uni, like the actual uni life I did enjoy. But as far as assignments and stuff went, it just, yeah. Don't know if I could really say it was for me in the end, but got through it anyway. So, you know, it wasn't all bad. Execute your checks on demand. Oh, do you know what I think this might be? On every... Okay, let's do this again. Let's run through all these steps again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that pull request closed. I think it's closed. It should be closed. Okay, no, we got it. We got that closed. Okay, we're not going to create another pull request just yet. What we're going to do instead is we're going to see if it actually runs it when we push to this, because when we push, it deploys to whatever branch we're on. So the same way that whenever you push to like the master or main, it deploys to production. In the same way, when you push to any branch you're working on, it has its own kind of like production in a sense. Even though it's not like production, it has its own like kind of fake production environment. So that is hopefully what Checkly should or will be checking against. So that's what will be in the environment URLs, like basically. So what we can do, make a little change. So this time what I'm going to do instead is remove that whole thing. Okay, and just have Greg Ogun. Now this is what's on master, but we're not checking against that. We're checking against develop, which has Greg Ogun dash front end developer. So this obviously isn't the same. It's not right. It should fail. So let's quickly just go ahead and commit this. And what I'm going to do is just do the same thing. So I don't know. I'll just say refactor for now. Refactor some code, and let's like update title. For end-to-end test. Right. Okay, that's committed, and then let's push. So you can just git push that. Okay. So this is where we've got to hope things work. So that's pushed. Now let's go back to the repo. It's a moment of truth now. We have to cross our fingers, I think. So if I do this now, we should see pending. So this is now building. So if I go to the actual branch, let's... What I'm really hoping to see is a failure here. Well, I don't know if it would happen here, but it needs to happen somewhere. Because basically what's happening right now, right? You see this is pending. What's happening right now, or should be happening right now, is that Checkly's now running this script. So it's going through, it's loading our page. It's going to the page. It's loading Chrome. It's going to our page. It's grabbing the page title, and then it's making sure that the page title is Greg Ogun front-end developer, which it isn't. It's just Greg Ogun. So that then it should see that and then throw an error, and it should fail. So if I refresh this now, this should be done because it usually doesn't take that long. So it's done. It's active. Okay, it's active. Okay, it's active. That's fine. But I just want to make sure. I'm just trying to figure out whether it's here or whether it's where we go to like make the pull request is where it fails. I don't know where it's supposed to fail. That's the only thing about this that like it's kind of confusing me. So in the detail section. Hold on. Well, let's have a look. It's got a cross by it, so that it's going to keep going back to that. Okay, it's going to keep going back to that. 32 commits. Okay. Right, okay. So we're getting this little cross, and I'm gonna hope that's like a failing thing. So this, so we can go to compare now if you want. So it's saying it's able to merge. I think maybe it doesn't run a check yet. Let's make sure we get this, like we get this clearly. Hey, Connor, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Just working on some portfolio stuff. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. All good. Just trying to figure out some testing stuff, which is yeah, it's boggling my brain a bit, but I think we're getting there. I'm basically just setting up some basic like end-to-end tests for my site. It's just the most basic one you could probably ever do, which is just checking for the title of the site. I'm just trying to get a failing test first, and then we'll kind of fix things in a minute. But even to do that, we're running into some issues. I'm just trying to basically. I'm just going through the docs and then. Oh, nice. Yeah, you know what? It's difficult, right? It's difficult to like. It definitely took me a little while to actually start coming up with a design. But like, if you have like a design tool, I mean, I don't know if you use anything like Adobe XD or Figma. Like personally, I use Figma for my designs, and that just kind of helps me to like, kind of always helps me to have the design sort of done first. So like, oh, I'm opening software I don't want to open. So just as like a basic design, like just something even as just simple as this. Just creating some basic like mock-ups and stuff. The thing I like about Figma is that it's like at first it seemed quite daunting to me. Actually, it was quite daunting, and I was a bit like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to learn this thing? But then when I actually got into, so like one thing about Figma is that they have really good, easy to follow videos. So like I find it quite straightforward actually to at least get to like a basic level. I'd still say I'm kind of at that. And as far as like understanding all of the features and stuff like that, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an advanced user of Figma. I feel like it just gets the job done for me. But I haven't like delved into it so much that I like know how to do all this crazy advanced stuff. But I can create like a basic like mock-up and prototype. But apart from that, yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm majorly advanced. But you don't really need to be to like create like a basic layout, which is what's nice about it. That's why I like it. It's like, you know, you don't have to learn it for ages to actually like get good enough to create a basic design. So I mean, you know, I would definitely encourage. I mean, that's if you're not really using it. I would encourage you to check that out maybe, and just look at like for me, I always have to have some kind of design inspiration. There's some people that can just probably start from scratch and they're just crazy good for doing that. But I personally can't. I have to have some kind of inspiration, and this is usually one place where I come is SaaS landing pages. It's just really nice. Like you can just come and look at all these other. I mean, obviously, yeah, this is, you know, fairly advanced and stuff, but like it can give you an idea, maybe even if it's just for colors and fonts and stuff like that. You know, if you see something that you like, what's nice, let's just say I like this one. What's nice is that you can go in and it tells you the fonts that it's using, it tells you the colors. And so it's kind of nice in that sense. So yeah, I would just say check that out. You know, if you're looking for inspiration, obviously like Dribble is like a really nice tool as well. I've been using that a lot more recently. So like this is obviously just some standard design stuff, but obviously you can get like I usually just come on here and I just type like developer, like portfolio or something. I've butchered that name, but they get what I mean, I think. So yeah, you can get like a list of some cool developer stuff. Like this is kind of cool. So yeah, there's lots of places to find inspiration, and then once you can kind of get like some basic design skills and knowledge, yeah, you could probably get going with things in no time, like for sure. So I'll say check it out. This means you can use. Sure, no worries. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Figma. Like, it's just really nice to kind of like there's not much to think about when you're doing designs. Like I find with tools like Photoshop, there's like so many different things going on, and but with Figma, like everything is kind of kept fairly minimal. Obviously, you've got like a lot of functionality that you have with each different aspect, but you know, you don't have to really touch that until you get to that point. So you can just stick to the basic stuff if you want. And like for me, that's all I've been doing. I've just been using pretty much the basic tools, and they've got me pretty far. So it shouldn't take long to learn, really. But that's just my own personal opinion, you know. Okay, good. Yeah, it's weird. I've like, okay, we're just gonna kind of. I reckon we're gonna go for it, and yeah. So here it shouldn't. So this is like a comparison happening here, right? Oh no, I haven't created my pull request yet. Okay, all right. You can just tell, guys, I'm terrified of like creating this pull request because I don't want it to like not work again. But you can see now we're getting this like thing here. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I've got a feeling it's gonna work. It's gonna fail, but that's gonna be a good thing because we're trying to get this test to fail right now. But before, like, it wasn't even running basically, but we're gonna hopefully run it. So we're comparing this branch with our development branch. the two types are different, which means the end-to-end test, which is here. And sorry, Samuel, I know you've probably seen me go through this so many times, but because you're in here now, Connor, this is just a bit of context. Basically, we've just written a basic end-to-end test, which basically starts up like a version of Chrome, and then it goes to our page, and then it grabs the title, and then it basically, we make an assertion to say that the title should be this. So that's what we have during this test. That's basically what we're running, and that's what it is on the development branch, right? So that's why we're putting this in this test, because that's what it actually is. But on the branch we've just created, we've changed that. We've purposely changed that to just being Greg Ogun to make sure it fails. So because that is not, it's obviously not equal to this test is going to fail, and it should let us know that, so that we can then go and make the change. Obviously this is just like a basic contrived example, but when it gets into actually building stuff, we're gonna want to know that stuff's not working. So that's why I'm just setting this up basically to fail first and then pass afterwards. So I'm just gonna go and do it. So let's create a pull request. That's fine. So it's able to merge these branches. So yeah, I feel like that shouldn't be the case. It's saying it should be able to be automatically merged. Because what's happening is that it feels like it's skipping this check for some reason. But nevertheless, we'll try it anyway. So let's see. There we go. Okay. Whew. All right, we caught it. We caught the bug, which is a massive win, because that was getting really annoying. So you can see here it says Checkly Portfolio V2, so that's our project name on Checkly, and it's failing after 4 seconds. So let's see what this details thing does if we open it up. Yes, nice. So this is going to show us basically what the error is. So this is nice. Request error. So it tells us as well, it's quite handy. It's quite a handy like error message. It tells us it's an assertion error, and we've only got one assertion, so we can probably guess, right? Like obviously if we've got multiple assertions, we would have to do a bit more looking, but it really should like tell us the line. Well, actually, yeah, it shows us here. So this is a very helpful message, right? It shows us actual and expected. So that's obviously standard from a good test runner. So it says the actual is Greg Ogun, but it actually expected. And I feel like, again, is this right? Yes. No, this is right this time. But I probably should, I don't know if I should have used that as an example, because that's what it is on the, is that what it is on the development branch? It should be all right. But what's going to happen now is that we're going to test this anyway. We're going to test to make sure that we're actually running against the right thing. So we've got checks now. That's great. Okay, cool. That's quite nice. Quite a nice integration. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fix that. We're just going to go... have I got rid of that? Yes, I have. So what I'm going to do is just close them down. Basically, what we want to do is... I got the right thing? Yeah, I have. So... Cool. Oh yeah, I've also recently created a profile readme, so that was fun to do. Just some basic info about myself, what I'm working on, and stuff I'm currently learning, passionate about, want to learn. So yeah, that was fun. So let's get back to pull request. Okay. Cool. So we're going to want to run this again. How did he do it? That's literally how I'm doing this. I'm just like, how did he do it? So after pushing again, oh, the check runs automatically. That's real nice. Okay. Cool. So all we need to do is literally come in here and just change this to what it's meant to be, right? So we're going to change this to dash. Oh, I want to make sure you obviously have to get all of it right. Okay, front-end developer. Let's just copy this whole thing because we want to make sure things are right. So yeah, I don't think it ran that first time because we had already pushed before we'd set up Checkly. Ideally, time to install React and try and make the portfolio now. Yeah, go for it, man. I think, you know, there's no better time than the present. I mean, do you have any experience using like Gatsby or like Next.js? Or are you just going full like pure React? I mean, I did it for version 1 actually, and that kind of, you know, I found that quite nice to build it on that. Obviously, just everything was straightforward. I actually used Parcel Bundler just to bundle it, so I didn't mess with Webpack. But this is basically what it looks like. This is like my version 1. Which, like, I was happy with it, but I think, I mean, I like this first bit's fine, and obviously I'm using Chakra UI, so it's quite easy to get light and dark mode like really quickly. And again, like, I just love my like little hover states, but I think as it gets further down, this is okay as well. But like, I don't know, for me, it was kind of, there wasn't too much of like a rhythm to it, like visually. It was kind of, especially with these project kind of cards, I wasn't much of a fan of this section, and it was only meant to be like a first kind of, and like obviously these hover states, obviously like it moves everything else, creates a bit of weird like layout shift, which is not something you want if you're going for like performance. So there's definitely a few things there that were, yeah, I was a bit like, okay. We've got this scroll thing as well that just scrolls too fast. I know there's like, I was using the React scroll library, but it was just very tough to be able to actually do it correctly and it be accessible as well. And I wanted it to be accessible, so I had to kind of just leave using that because it was just too much hassle to try and get that to work. I did enjoy building it though, but like I think because with this project I didn't do what I'm doing now. I didn't design first. I like designed as I was coding, and any of you guys that have done that might potentially know that is definitely not the easiest thing. I found it difficult anyway, personally, which is why I've taken a different approach to this one. So yeah, that's me on personal projects. But yeah, Connor, let us know how it goes. But yeah, it'd be great to hear about how you're getting on with building it. I mean, as you build it out, and feel free to jump in our Discord. We usually just chatting about. Well, I say usually chatting about. We haven't spoken about anything yet, actually. I mean, we've got a few guys in there, but yeah, it's kind of just a space for like any questions or feedback you have around this stuff. Obviously announcements for when I'm doing lives, but then also there's the community chat for just people just to chat about like web development, you know, and speak about stuff that we're excited about, or like stuff you're finding hard and you might need help with. I think it's always nice to just create a community. Obviously there's countless and endless amounts of communities around like React itself, but I always feel like there's no harm in creating another one like around this content. But I'd obviously like it to extend to people feeling free to just, you know, if there's any advice you need around like building a portfolio, or if you've got any feedback for myself or anyone else, like it's just one of those things you can just sort of jump in there and feel free to chat on there. So back to this stuff. I'm gonna try and round off now because we're at 2.5 hours, so yeah, I'm gonna round off this one. Let's just make sure that this is passing then. So yeah, I've copied that, haven't I? Let's paste it in here. No, that's a Discord. Okay. So okay, save that. Okay, let's go and add that. Let's commit this. So again, just gonna refactor, no scope, refactor, and again, actually, no. Let's give it a bit of context. Let's give it some context. It's a fix, right? We'll fix typo, and we'll just say typo in title. Okay, and let's just commit that. And now let's run our command git push. And as it pushes, it's gonna run that check again, or at least, you know, according to Guillermo, it's gonna run that test again. So we're gonna just check for that. So you can see it's got a pending check. And here we are, we're waiting. Actually a bit terrified. I'm just hoping it's checking against the right thing, to be honest. Hey, Connor, we just seen the Discord there. Awesome stuff. There we go. Oh, some checks. Okay. There we go. And that's just a moment of satisfaction there. We've got our test now passing. And now we can merge. So that is basically, to round off after like 2.5 hours, that's basically how you can set up the most basic, simple end-to-end test, basically. So what we've done today is we have set up a branch where we have basically done nothing. No, I'm kidding. We've set up a branch where we've just changed our title, and we obviously made the title something that it currently isn't in our test. So better way to put that actually is we went to set up an end-to-end test for Checkly. So we had this boilerplate code that we just added a couple of things to. So we added a URL variable that takes the environment URL, which is our deploy URL. So it's fine, we don't have to do anything there, which is nice. It defaults to our normal URL, so that's fine. We've got all this boilerplate code. All we do is put our URL into the page.goto, so it can go to our page. Then we assert what the value of the title should be. So our branch basically just played the part of making sure that we made a typo, so that we would fail the test, so that the test fails. And then once that test was failing, we went to make a correct fix, and now that test is passing. And so that basically it's just the most simplest way to get like a test set up. What's nice about this obviously now is now that we've got this integration, so like this check we can just run on every deployment, but obviously we can now extend this script. So, you know, we can have, and obviously we can have different scripts, but like we can have this script now, we can add stuff to it, we can add different assertions. So, you know, next time we're not just going to want to check the title. Let's say we've created a home page, and let's say we've got like a newsletter component in there, right? And we wanted to check that the user can do certain things in there, that they can like actually enter values in the input, or like when they click the button, I don't know, something happens, whatever it is. Like, yeah, like when they click the button and there's a success, that there's that success message shown, like this kind of thing. We can look at So yeah, that's the kind of thing we'll be looking at obviously later in the week. So yeah, I am gonna round off now. We've kind of managed to, I think, tick everything off, which is nice. Yeah, we did all this, so that's nice. Actually got everything covered. I mean, went slightly over by half an hour, but I'm all good with that. And honestly, like, it's all a learning experience. So that's all good. So next time round, this is probably going to be tomorrow. I need to add more stuff to this, but we're going to be creating some placeholder content, which I need to do some designs on tonight. So not going to bed yet. I've got a few more bits to do regarding that. So yeah, if you're around, if Samuel and Connor, if you guys are still around in here, yeah, feel free to jump on tomorrow. I'll be updating in the Discord like what sort of time. I'm not sure yet, but it'll either be like afternoon or evening time, like UK time. So yeah, I think it'll either be at like 4 p.m. or like 8 p.m. GMT most likely. So what we'll be doing, yeah, is starting to create some placeholder content to go in our pages. So let's have a look at actually, before we do anything, let's merge this up. If you want, we can squash and merge this. Okay, I'm going to squash and merge that. It's going to ask us for what issues does it close? Yeah, that's fine. Let me connect issues to this. So what do we want? Yeah, sub. Okay. It's got like issue 19. Did it create? I don't think it created an issue for us, did it? Am I just imagining that? Yeah, I don't think it did. Okay, yeah, it's connected to that issue. Lovely. Yeah, I don't know why it says 19. It should be 12. Then again, we don't really need that. We know what we're closing, so I'm just gonna leave it as this. Okay, so test. Do we have a sorry, bear with me, guys. I just wanted to check something. Yeah, we do have a test. I'm just gonna stick with that. Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is to call it this. And right, underscore check underscore mark. Just gonna add our check mark. I'm just gonna say first end-to-end test with checkly. Okay. That should be. Should be all good. Okay. So merging that into develop. Cool, let's do that. And it's successfully merged and closed. Nice one. Okay, so that's all good. Can delete that branch now. And then in our, so it's deleted from the remote. It's going to be still on our local. So you can see here, if I go like git checkout develop, and we have a look here, it's going to show us, like, you can still see, so it's still on the origin. That's weird. Is it git branch -d, I think? I want to say it's git branch -d, but I can never get it right. I don't know if that's right. I don't want to commit to that. So I'm searching for it in the other. How do I delete a local branch? What did I call it? Test slash setup end-to-end. Setup E2E. Okay, so again, a nice warning. Yeah, that's fine. So okay, that's deleted from local. We want to make sure it's deleted from the. Can't remember if there's any extra steps we need to take. I think. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I remember. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh yeah, no, we're on develop. That's fine. It's fine. We were already on develop, so that's all good. So we're gonna do git push origin delete. Is it origin slash? I hope so. Slash test slash. It should. Oh, sorry, no, we don't need to do origin. Test slash. Why do I keep forgetting the name? I'm definitely tired. Set up E2E. Okay. Remote ref does not exist. Okay, that means that we've got rid of it then. Well, let's actually, you know what? Let's git pull. Maybe git pulling will do it. Okay, I think that should do it. No, it doesn't. We won't worry about that right now. You can sync the changes later. Right, so that's all good. Cool, yeah, so like I said, next time, what we're essentially going to be doing, so this will be tomorrow, we're going to be basically, so as I'm going to be designing this like homepage and obviously the about page, the projects page, the blog, all these other pages as we go along. What I do want to do right now, and this is really just to allow other people just to get like a general idea of what I'm building. So like right now, okay, I'll show you guys. If I go to my, if I go to my URL, what we've got on here is like something I made like a little while ago. Yeah, I'll be tomorrow. Yeah, all right. Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining, Samuel. Yeah, really appreciate it. And yeah, it'll be great to catch you tomorrow. I'll definitely be in here. Yeah, I'll just say check the Discord if you're interested in joining again, and you can find out what time I'm going to be on a bit earlier on there. So yeah, thanks again, man, and take care. So yeah, this is the under construction page, just a very basic thing. But I kind of want to replace this and actually have something that's a bit closer to what we're building now. So, or what we're going to end up building. And because I've got that page like wrapper, what's nice about it is that like I don't have to add much code. I can just add some basic boilerplate and yeah, we can get things looking cool. So this is what I want it to look more closer to this. Obviously, instead of homepage, we're going to have basically each page is just going to have like a little content box which is going to say what that page is about. And I just think it's just a nice way to like allow people that want to kind of try this out just to be able to navigate through and have a look at all the little transitions and things, and then also get an idea of like what's going to be there on those pages like soon enough. So that's the idea. Tomorrow it's just going to be going through. So I'm going to just try and create some basic designs tonight before I hit bed, and then tomorrow we'll be looking at actually implementing that. So we'll be replacing this page. So this is what is on master, because this is obviously what is on my site. So we'll be looking to make changes tomorrow, and then hopefully, yeah, at the end of the stream. Well, actually, I mean, I say at the end of the stream, if we end up doing it on Tuesday as well, that's fine. But my aim is to try and get it done tomorrow. So we're just going to have to kind of see how we get on, to be honest. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. And we will definitely catch up tomorrow. So awesome, cool stuff. Yeah, got some good stuff done. Feel actually a little sense of achievement that I got my test passing, which is nice. So cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for everyone that's joined. Yeah, it's been a good one. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Like I said, anyone that's interested in catching these, obviously the link to the Discord is in the chat, or you can check my profile. The link is also there. So feel free to jump on in there if you're wanting to sort of learn more a bit about. I suppose I'm gonna try and put some links in to my Notion, which is like my project management hub, and I've got everything regarding the project in there. So yeah, if you want to learn more about it, then yeah, do join the Discord, and you just get more regular updates. And I'll probably go live in there a bit as well, just at certain times when I'm working on something small, and perhaps I'm not really up to streaming, but I just want to do like a small stream. We can do that as well. And there's like a code together channel as well. So if you're just coding and you just want to sort of be in the environment with like other people and do that kind of thing, there's that too. So feel free to join that. And yeah, it's been a good one. Thanks so much, everyone, and hopefully we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Cool. All right, I'm out. Peace.